I didn't put any of my books in an order when I stacked them. They're just in stacks. Why did I do this? Hello world, and welcome back, or welcome if you are new here. I'll be honest, I'm not expecting anyone to actually watch this, but I thought it would be fun, and so I am doing it. I am here to talk about the books that I read in 2025. There are only 23 of them. Might not sound like a lot in comparison to some people. I don't feel a need to compare myself to other people. I feel a need to engage in hobbies that make me happy. That is what I am attempting to do. It's a decently good reading year for me, particularly compared with the last couple of years. I've been in a pretty bad reading slump. Life, responsibilities, life. My goal most years, including 2025, was to read 12 books, so I exceeded my goal. Let's talk about the books. Starting off strong, I read one story by my boy Edgar Allan Poe, which is The Fall of the House of Usher. The reason for this being twofold. One, I watched the Mike Flanagan Netflix adaptation of The Fall of the House of Usher. Absolutely loved it, but I was also aware that it was pretty different. It's like very loosely inspired by Poe's original story and not really a direct adaptation. So I was curious about the source material itself. Also, my best friend was reading the T. Kingfisher, again, sort of loosely inspired from adaptation of Fall of the House of Usher. And they were asking me questions about the original text, and I was reasonably sure I knew the answers, but I wasn't completely sure, and so I was like, you know what, I'll just read it. I liked it. I gave it 3 stars. It's pretty short. It's fine. It's not my favorite Poe by any means, but I liked it. Where do I put it now? What do I Next, I have the next 2 books in the Wayward Children series that I hadn't read. The ones that I read are Lost in a Moment and Found and Mislaid in Parts Half Known. For some reason, we only have the softcover arcs of these instead of having the final print copies. Don't ask me why. Lost in a Moment, I gave 4 stars, and Mislaid, I gave 5 stars. I did like Mislaid a tiny bit more. I like the installments in the series that are sort of the overarching plot, as opposed to the installments in the series that are very world and individual story focused. I really, really loved that Mislaid had this strong character resolution for the character in Lost in a Moment. It was so powerful and like it felt almost healing. It was so good. I absolutely loved it. Oh, I didn't say the author. Wayward Children is by Sean McGuire. Next up, I finally read Legends and Lattes. This is by Travis Baldree. I liked it fine. I gave it 4 stars. Technically, I actually gave it 4.5 stars because I enjoyed it a lot, but it wasn't like fully 5 stars for me, which is very subjective. I will say, I think one of the reasons that I did end up enjoying this a lot is I have not read a lot of books that are like, it's D&D world. I think if I was more well-versed in books that are, this is D&D, I might not have enjoyed this one as much. This is gonna get very strange right about now. Okay, so for the last few years, I have been dipping my toes more and more into the broader romance genre. I've not been super into romance throughout my reading life, but I have been very curious about it, and I have been experimenting with different kinds of romances. I can solidly say I have entered my romance era. I'm finally here. I read this book. I liked it so much, I bought a copy. I even got the Barnes & Noble special edition. So I gave this 5 stars. I will say, through most of the book, this was about 4 stars for me. Loved it, but there were things that were not pushing me up to 5 stars, and then right at the end, it just stuck the landing. It was so good. Oh my god. Lights Out is by Nevessa Allen. And over something completely different, I read Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews. This is not a romance. This is not a romance. C.G. Drews has been so unbelievably clear in everything that they say about their books. They do not write romance, they write horror. This is a horror novel. It is chef's kiss horror, but this is a horror novel. It has a romantic subplot, but this is horror. And it's so good horror. This was 5 stars, no questions asked. First one that I don't have a copy of is That One Night by Dr. Emily Rath. Okay, so I read this kind of by accident, because I was really interested in her work because of the things that she was saying on her social platforms. So I went in to read Pucking Around. Unbeknownst to me, the audiobook that I borrowed from my library included That One Night, so I listened to that first. I didn't super like it. I gave it 3 stars. It's fine. Oh, what's next is a book that I don't have a copy of because I missed my chance to get a copy of it. And yes, I am very upset about that. It is the sequel to Lights Out, which is Caught Up. I don't have a copy of it because I am desperate to have all of the Barnes & Noble special editions because I want them to match. I have pre-ordered the 3rd book. Caught Up immediately within the first 10 minutes of the audiobook. 5 stars. 5 stars. I loved every second of that book so much. I did love it more than Lights Out. Next, we have another one that I do not have a physical copy of, and that is Prince of Air and Darkness by M.A. Grant. This is also a romance. It's sort of a contemporary fantasy. So basically, you have a universe that caters to magical entities, and there is a human also at this university because he contains this super duper power
and is trying to learn how to control it.
He's roommates with the Unseelie Prince. But there's theoretically a lot of politicking going on, and we have our human guy who's trying to learn how to control these powers. Everyone wants to like have a piece of him to have a piece of that power. I gave this 3 stars. I am actually interested in continuing the series. This one didn't work for me super well because there's no buildup of the dynamic between, what even are their names? Rourke and Phineas. They don't just go around calling him Phineas. That's Finn. They call him Finn. Book starts right at the very end of their time at this university after all of this other stuff has happened in their relationship. Like, I felt like I was reading book 3 or 5 in a series, not book 1. There is so much about the world that is alluded to. That did not work for me at all. It also, I'll be honest, it read kind of like a fan fiction in that there is clearly this dynamic between Finn and Rourke that has been built up over years of them being like rivals and enemies in very close proximity. Some of that is conveyed in the text, but a lot of it is just, it's told and not shown because we don't have this long college career of them like sniping at each other. We just have the very end bit. Next up, I read Once Upon a K-Prom. This is a YA romance by Kat Cho, which follows a girl who was childhood friends with a boy who went on to become a K-pop star, and they reconnect right at the end of her high school career. He comes back for reasons. What did I rate this? I rated this 3 stars. Shrug. I think this would be great for someone who is not me. I think maybe I'm just a little too old for YA romance. There's nothing wrong with YA romance, of course. And like there's within me, like there was a time when I was a 17-year-old girl, right? And I remember like what that experience was like. But as a 38-year-old adult with a mortgage and 2 children, I'm a little shrug about it now, you know? I think this is a solid book and not necessarily for me. Next up, I have Soul Eater by Lily Mayne. This is not the original cover. This is a gorgeous, sexy, beautiful hand rebound copy that was gifted to me as part of a bookbinding exchange in 2025. Thank you so much again. The rebinding exchange was for Monster Romance. This is Monster Romance. I gave this 3 stars. Technically it's 3.75, so it's very much in between 3 and a 4. There were things that I absolutely loved about this. It has a lot of critique of like military industrial complex and sort of authoritarian power structures. I'm very, very curious about the rest of the series. Honestly, a lot of the world building reminds me of Savage Song and Our Dark Duet by V.E. Schwab. It's that kind of like something bad has happened and now the world is forever changed and there are monsters among us. But are the monsters the horrible, icky monsters, or are they the humans in the military? Spoiler, it's the military. Next up, I read The Har by David Sodergran. This is an erotic horror. This is not a romance, it is horror. I don't even want to say it includes a romance. It's not exactly a romance. It's more just like a erotic and sensual dynamic between this little old lady and a horrible monster. It is 100% a horror though, in one of my favorite subgenres of horror, which is gentrification horror. So this is about a teeny tiny little community in Scotland that is being slowly taken over by these like big property developers, one specific property development company. And she like refuses to sell. Her husband has been gone for years. It's just her. She's getting very old. Her community's getting very old, but they're being sort of bought out and pushed out of this community. How many times am I gonna need to insert a clip while editing? The horror was 5 stars. Next up, I have Fan Service by Rosie Danon. I gave this 5 stars. Was I expecting to enjoy this as much as I did? Absolutely not. Yet here we are. I love the growth that Devon has through the story. I love the growth that Alex has through the story. Ali Hazelwood was my most read author this year. I read Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. I gave it 5 stars. It was so good. Okay, I'm gonna talk about these next 2 together, even though I didn't read them right after one another. I read the first 2 books in the Scholomance trilogy by Naomi Novik. That is A Deadly Education and The Last Graduate. I love these so much. I am waiting for my hold of the audiobook of The Golden Enclaves to come up so that I can read that finally. I'm really excited about it. I gave both of these 5 stars. I don't want to talk about this next one, which is Twisted by Emily McIntyre. This is a contemporary romance. I gave it 2 stars. The series that this is from is like Fractured Fairy Tales, specifically like the Disneyfication of certain properties and making them into contemporary romances. We don't need to talk about it. All right, moving into something that I actually enjoyed, that is Finna by Nino Cipri. This is a sci-fi novella, which is Not IKEA employee is sent on a mission to rescue a customer who has fallen through a portal into an alternate dimension in Not IKEA. It's a scathing critique of capitalism and the ways that capitalism does not give a single fuck about human beings. I gave this 4 stars. How many more? I have 2 more Ali Hazelwoods. Up next, we have Two Can Play by Ali Hazelwood. This is an audio-only story. It is about competing game development companies that go on a staff retreat to see if their companies can work together on this major project, and there is a romance. I gave this 5 stars? I gave it 5 stars? Oh my god. I'm a mess. We don't need to talk about that anymore. I loved it. We're almost there. We're almost there. Hey, hello. One last edit, me from the future. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this next book that I was going to talk about, strictly because I feel like including it, like I know next to no one is going to watch this video, but including it feels much too close to platforming the book and the authors, and I am not comfortable doing that. I am not trying to hide that I read this book. It's on my story graph, you can see that I read it. I just don't want to platform this book, this series, or these authors. So I'm just gonna cut it completely. Next up, I read a book that I have been wanting to read for quite a while, and that is Iron Widow by Jiran J. Zhao. I gave this 4 stars. I enjoyed this book a lot. I particularly enjoyed diving into things about the cultural history that I did not necessarily know or didn't know much about. I know I'm being very inconsistent about what I'm describing the plot for and what I'm not describing the plot for. This is a half hour of my life so far. Leave me alone. Next up, I have this that I have an absolutely beautiful cover of, which is Hamajang Luck by Makana Yamamoto. This is a sci-fi heist. Absolutely delightful. I gave it 4 stars. There were some things that were not absolutely perfect for me, but I enjoyed this tremendously. A whole lot of fun. If you like heists, I strongly recommend this. Very good. So the very last book that I read was The Last Graduate, but we already talked about that. So the last book that I will talk about now is Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood. This is the first Ali Hazelwood that I gave 4 stars instead of 5. I enjoyed it tremendously. I did not enjoy it as much as other Ali Hazelwood novels. I did spot the reference to Deep End and chef's kiss. That was so fun. Now that I've got a big stack of books on my floor that I will have to clean up, and this video has gone on way longer than I wanted or expected, I'm gonna stop recording and move on to something else with my life. Thank you very much for watching. If you made it to the end of the video, I really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your thoughts on these or any other books, and who knows, maybe I will try to record a video again soon.